Good evening everyone and welcome to Competitive Racing Club. We are here for the final 3 rounds of the championship as we take in the Fuji Grand Prix circuit for round 11 here for CRC LMP3s. I'm James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as per usual. And again, it is just me, I think, in the commentary box. I can't see Professional online. I will, however, check, and I'll go on to blue screen just to have a double check, just in case he is coming online to commentate on the race, but he is not, so it is just me here tonight for the action out on track tonight. And what a night we have in prospect. We could crown our champion here tonight, possibly. Speedster out in front on 151 points. Had a disastrous race last time out in Sugo. Can the American bite back at Darren Sinclair? We hope so, he can. He's on 151 points. It's 25 points the lead. Darren Sinclair in second, Andy in third on 99 points. RLT Matter in fourth on 85 with Racing Home in fifth on 82. Emmanuel in sixth on 78. Flaky in seventh on 75. H Racing Green in eighth on 68. Nissim in ninth on 56. And Aguilator in 10th on 51 points. Bulldog Racing Team can wrap up the team standings as well. They're on 225 points. RLT Janetta in second, 160. Sealy Motorsport in third on 158, and Victor Bellissimo Racing on 124, with Wilson Racing in fifth on 120. HRT in sixth on 93, with Lawnmower Racing in seventh on 82. Hot on the Wheels in eighth on 40. RLT Ligier in ninth on 32, and France MRT have gotten nil point. There is the track, 2.42 kilometres in length, 16 turns await these drivers out on track tonight, and it is going to be once again a dry race here in Fuji tonight. We've got 11 drivers about to do battle, and we see the first cars coming out on track, and I think one of them is Speedster, if I can find his name. There he is. There is Speedster coming out on track, our current championship leader coming into tonight. And are we going to see champion here tonight? Are we going to see Speedster be crowned our CRC LMP3 champion? It can be done. There are quite a few permutations which I'm not going to go through because I'm not the greatest at maths, so that's going to be quite interesting. But yeah, there is that possibility that if obviously doesn't finish that well up the order, Speedster can take the win. But I think Aguilator is the first out on track, if I'm not mistaken. There he is, the Spaniard, fresh off another podium last week, of course, in CRC. Of course, we take in the 16 corners around here as we come through the hairpin at turns 6 and 7, and then down through 300 Rs. We see Mactosi join, which is good to see, and we have got another driver that has just joined as well. And also, I will put that there on the stream as well, that CRC is now under new ownership as well. It is Bart that is now owning the lead. He is gone. He is not racing here tonight, and the American sadly not taking further part, it seems, in CRC LMP3 going forward for the rest of the season. So we are not under new ownership, but trust me, it's the same commentary team of myself and Professional who will be alongside me, hopefully for the final race of the season when he returns from his teaching, obviously in America, and they're getting ready, of course, for the new term over there. But Aguilator about to start us off on a lap, and the Spaniard is going to start us off here at Fuji. Coming along this 1 kilometre straight down towards turn 1 as I get the track map up for Bahrain. I don't know why I was getting that up. As we come down towards turn 1 at Daichi, which is the turn 1 corner name. And obviously through the kink of turn 2 as well. So we see the brakes up towards turn 1. If you're wondering where Fuji might have been more famous, of course we did have the Super GTs going around here, the Super Formulas as well, and also in 2008 it played host to the Japanese Grand Prix, of course, when Suzuka either got rained off or was getting updated, was getting upgraded the track. So we obviously had Fuji in 2008 in Formula 1. Aguilator though on a lap as he now comes through 300R. Down through turns 9 and into 10. There are 2 different track layouts, by the way, and this is the biggest indicator because you go right through the chicane, not straight, pretty much. Through Dunlop Corner, through turns 10, 11 and 12, and then we rise up the hills. Quite a lot of elevation change, I think. It's something like 80 metres elevation change if we ride on board with Aguilator now through turn 13, and then up the hill once again through 14, and Fuji, of course, in the background. I'll come on to that in just a second. But Aguilera now coming through turn 15, which is the final corner out on track, and now through 16, a Panasonic corner, and he's through the final corner safely. So let's see what this lap time is going to be. Bart, by the way, has came across the line to set a 53.1. Aguilera, in the meantime, the Spaniard, is going to come across the line, and he's going to come across the line. It's further down the pit lane. I'm expecting it to be the GT Sport line, but it is this line here. And Aguilera comes across the line, 133.9. Not sure what that is like, but hopefully it is going to be a good on track. We have got a new driver as well out on track. NSR Hades, a speedster, goes quickest with a 132.1. So Hades on a lap, comes across the line any second now. Again, it is a very long pit line, but he comes across the line. I think he's just started a lap, actually. He has Hades. Hades, of course, from TTML Division 4 this season, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, TTL Division 1 League 2 race last season as well. So that's where you might have seen him on this channel. But early on, it is Speedster who leads. NLR Yogurt in second, and Darren Sinclair in third. But look at how tight it is actually between Sinclair, Aguilera and Andy as we approach the 5-minute mark already in qualifying. Hopefully you guys are all doing well as we see Andy 5/10 up through the first sector. Now coming through towards the, well, towards the middle sector, now through the hairpin at turn 6 and 7. Not a lot of corners in the first half of the track, and that is actually, I think, Darren Sinclair just spinning on the inside of the curb there through turn 7. So Andy now through corner at turn 10. Let's see what Andy's going to do. Through this middle sector. The middle sector split comes after the chicane. Getting nice and tightly in. I haven't had the opportunity, by the way, to drive these cars this week like I normally do. Andy now around through the middle sector. He's 7/10 up. He could be going for a theoretical second here in qualifying early on. It's quite cold here on the northeast coast, by the way. I'm getting a very chill coming out through my window. Aguilera's gone second with a 132.164, so nice up there by the Spaniard. Andy now around the final corner, spins the car, just about recovers it. He will be up on his time, I think, still. But Andy, it could have been a hell of a lot better of a lap, I think, from the Scotsman if he didn't have that slight spin coming out the final corner. And he will now come across the start-finish line, the second start-finish line, as you call it. And he comes across the line now to set a... he was actually down on this time by 0.6 of a second. So Andy really losing the time at the final corner. And he stays 5th for now. Darren Sinclair coming out behind in... and he's improved by... what, 0.3 of a second, I think that was, by Sinclair. So nice up there, 133.1. And it wasn't him that must have spun out on track. It must have been another guy out on track that spun. Bart round the final corner has improved, 134 flat. We should see a lot of improvements here in qualifying. We've got Speedster back out a lot, and we'll cover him in just a second. Venom down in 8th position early on, 35.3. Normally a good pacer on a 1-lap pace. Venom is normally well up there, but currently he's down in 8th position as Bart goes 5th ahead of Andy by 0.4 of a second. Improvement there from the Dutchman. Flaky now coming up towards the line as he's about to come across the line. He should improve, I think, Flaky on this lap. Yeah, 0.6 of improvement, 134.2 from Flaky. Very nice stuff indeed. ILRT Matters, the only one that hasn't set a lap currently out on track. In the Brit, of course. Fresh from his exploits in Division 2 earlier on in the week around Zandvoort as Aguilera was disconnected, and then Yogurt goes quickest. The 131.9, he just comes into the pit lane there, but Yogurt, the 131.9 goes 2/10 ahead of Speedster. Speedster, I think he's on an out lap here, he's just about to start his lap. So, we'll ride on board. But Speedster is on a lap, and we're going to go on board with him with a lap. No pressure, Speedster, as we come through turn 1. I think this is our first fully ridden on board lap coming through turns 1 and 2. And we're on board with the cockpit from the driver's eye, coming now down towards Coca-Cola Corner at turn 3. Don't know why they call it Coca-Cola Corner when there's no logos or anything there. But a 10th up through the first sector from the Speedster, so we will improve inevitably. There is Mount Fuji, just the left-hand side of the driver's eye. Now Speedster coming through the hairpin at turn 6 and 7. There's Mount Fuji again, to the right-hand side now of the driver's eye. You'll get a better insight coming up towards turn 12 of Mount Fuji. And get a better sight of that. Of course, Mount Fuji, the largest mountain in Japan. Speedster now down under the brakes. Down towards turn 10. Through Dunlop Corner. He's got a car just ahead of him out on track. I think might be Hades, if I'm not mistaken. Speedster though on a lap, and he's 300th down through the middle sector, but this is looking very nice indeed. The car will give him a little bit of tow running down the straight if he stays ahead, of course. There is Mount Fuji coming through turn 15 as Speedster runs wide. It could be a race director penalty on the cards. Yeah, he stops out on track, he's going to serve it up, and Speedster not on a lap in the end. Just saw him run wide. He's going to prepare, I think, for another lap. He's got plenty of fuel to do it. Halfway through in qualifying, you'll get lead. Speedster second. Sinclair has gone third. Andy now fourth. Rest Home has got up to fifth as well, 133.1. So nice up there by the Brit. Let's see what Racing Home can do as Bart is invalidated his lap time down on the bottom right hand side. Racing Home just about gets through the corner in one piece, really squirreling the car coming through Dunlop corner. Aguilera, I'm pleased to say, has rejoined, and Racing Home loses control of the car, and that is why his car is too squirrely, because it went well wayward, and now he's had a sit and suffer there. So the car to the left hand side of the grid just off. That was Darren, I think. Massa though is on a lap, and the Brit normally does a good performance again in qualifying. His race pace is better than his qualifying pace, is Massa. So he is on a lap. We've got Speedster on a lap, I think, just ahead by a couple of cars as well. So Speedster actually back out on a lap here, and the American now coming down towards turn 10 at Dunlop corner. If I have to clear my throat, by the way, my throat is aching after my League of Europe commentary, and hopefully we'll get to see something. But Speedster 3.5 tenths up through the middle sector, really powering through turn 13, now through 14, and in towards turn 15 at Nets corner. As we see Aguilera rejoin. Aguilera was second before he disconnected. Yogurt has gone since quicker than Speedster, but now Speedster at the final corner, much more clean from Speedster. As now the American is going to make this long run down towards the start-finish line. It's not a case of if he's going to be on pole, it's a case of name the distance, I think. Speedster across the line, goes pole by nearly 0.5 of a second. So nice up there by Speedster. And he goes 4 and a bit tenths ahead of NLR Yogurt, who is in second. He's about to come across the line, I think. Aguilera disconnects again. Hopefully he's able to get his disconnection. If you're watching the stream, by the way, Aguilera, turn it off. Turn it off, that's the best way to fix your connection. Yogurt now across the line. Doesn't improve, 8 tenths down on his lap time, so might be preparing up for another one on this occasion. Mata is up. He did improve, by the way, on that lap that we cut off on board. But now he's 2 seconds down on the back of Speedster. The coughing has begun. It's going to be a long hour and a quarter, I think, for me. Mata now down towards turn number 9, which is, of course, Dunlop corner. Now through turn 10, which is this one coming up. Now into Dunlop corner. Bottom behind by... Oh, and Mata actually cuts the corner, and he's into the pit lane. But now coming across the line. What's his lap time? He doesn't improve. I think he's just set up on a lap there. Hades is in 10th. He's one of our debut drivers, of course, here tonight in CRC. McTulsty as well. Normally well up there with the pace, McTulsty, the Canadian. Let's see what he can do as we ride on board with him in the Ligier. Down towards turn number 10. It looks like the Genettas might be quicker than the Ligiers around here in the LMP3s with 3 minutes to go. McTulsty now down into the Dunlop corner. There is a beautiful shot of Mount Fuji right in the driver's eye there. Right in front of them as they come out of turn 12. 1.3 seconds up McTulsty as Aguilera has rejoined. Hopefully he does not disconnect again. Be quite concerned if he does, with there only being 2 minutes left. There's only a certain point in the game that'll let him rejoin, and if he wants to rejoin, of course he can, but there comes to a point where obviously the driver will not have to set another lap. McTulsty in the meantime, is he coming into the pit lane, or is he just going to run down towards the pit wall? I think he might do the pit wall. No, he's into the pit lane. McTulsty into the pit. He was improving by 2 seconds, not giving anything away though. It's good to see. It's very good to see. High grade is out of turn 1 and 2, and down towards Coca-Cola corner at turn 3. And High grade will be hoping for better improvement, I think. He hasn't got great race pace. He'll be hoping for a good result though here tonight. He's 500 down, coming through the first sector, and he runs wide actually coming through turn 5. As Yogurt still Sinclair third, Andy fourth, Krishna Home I think improved from 133 119. Let's go on board from chase cam with the driver in question, with High Grade. Braking very early for the corner. He can brake a little bit later and try and commit a little bit more into the corner. High Grade now on a lap, and he's 6 tenths up through the middle sectors. He's really found a lot of time there through the middle sector. He's ahead of McTulsey and ahead of Aguilera. Aguilera is on a lap as well. Oh, High Grade nearly losing control of the car through turn 15. Speeds are out on top. Yogurt second, Sinclair in third with only just over a minute to go in qualifying. But a good qualifying session so far it has been for everyone. High Grade now up towards the line. Of course, we are in the southern part of Japan, if I'm not mistaken, Fuji Speedway. I'm not good with my geography, so you can at me that in the comment section. High Grade now coming across the line, goes 11th and improves, and my connection is not sufficient, apparently, to broadcast the gameplay, which is very strange, considering I have been absolutely fine all night. I wonder why that is. High Grade, though, did improve on that lap. We've got Speedster back out on a lap, 5 tenths down through the first sector. Sinclair trying to lay it all on line here. He's trying to beat Speedster. He needs to find a second on him. And the Scotsman now coming across the line. Is he going to improve? No, doesn't improve at all. Racing Home across the line does improve. 2 tenths per second. Racing Home has improved. Nice up there by the Brit. And he goes within 400ths of a second of Andy, which is a good lap time. Matter now at the final corner. Let's see what the Brit can do. Qualifying is complete. Speeds are out on top. Yogurt second, Sinclair in third. Have a feeling Speeds obviously will be trying to put on the line. He can wrap up the championship here tonight. And we might have some nice driver interviews towards the end of the stream. Matter across the line. He did improve, I think, there. 133, 194. Goes across the line in 6th. Who's next up to come across the line? I think it's Speedster coming out the final corner, really wayward at the final corner as we come on board with him. And comes into split then, no improvement. High Grade is not improving. He's just cut, I think, spun it through 10-15 there. Hades is on the lap. Aguilera on the lap as well. He was 200ths behind Speedster before he disconnected. This is the only chance he's going to get. Is Aguilera going to break Speedster's heart? Is he going to break Yogurt's heart for second as well? Aguilera now coming across the line. He goes 6th. 6th position. That disconnect has really done him in. He's going to be annoyed with his internet provider, I think, after that one. Hades across the line. Goes 11th. Doesn't improve. Racing Home is one of the last ones to come across the line. He will be the last driver, I think, to come across the line, actually, Racing Home. Now he's going to come across the line. Is he going to improve? Could he go third ahead of Darren? Across the line? No, I don't think he did. But let's have a rundown of the order. It is Speedster out on top by 400ths of a second. From Yogurt in second. Sinclair in third. Andy in fourth. Racing Home in fifth. Aguilera in sixth. Matter in seventh. Bart in eighth. Flaky in ninth. And Venom running off to time. Venom, very disappointing qualifying session from him. Hopefully he'll be quicker in the race. Hades in 11th, High Grade in 12th, and McTulsey in 13th position. McTulsey apparently is Spanish tonight. Not Canadian, which he is. He is Canadian. He's definitely not Spanish. That's, of course, I think a little bit of a glitch. And Aguilera is American, so that's even worse. Aguilera is American. I think there's been a bit of a mix-up in the nationalities there. Oh, but Speedster out on top, 4 tenths ahead of his teammate NLR Yogurt. Very interesting perspective. And looking through the first sectors, actually, Speedster was only 200ths ahead of Yogurt, but really found the time in the middle, and indeed more so in the final sector, where he improved by 2.5 tenths over Yogurt in that final sector alone. Dan Sinclair also set a very good final sector, 36.599. He lost the time in the first sector, 21.6 it was. One of the slowest first sectors out of the top 10 there out on track. But beautiful camera shot as we run down the order. Speedster out on top, Yogurt second, Dan Sinclair in third. 13 drivers. Good to see a very good attendance here tonight. Hopefully everyone will be tuning in and watching this race an hour long here at Fuji. Hopefully you'll keep me company as well. But let's run through every individual driver and have a look at their fuel load. Speedster on 85. There is NLR Yogurt on 85. Dan Sinclair on 85. Andy's on 85, same with Resner Home, as is Agulator. Matter on 7 litres. Now that will change. Watch, it'll change to the right hand side. I hope it does, unless he is going to go into the pit lane early on. I doubt he will though. Yeah, 85 litres, there we go, just changed. Bart is on 85, Flaky on 85, same with Venom. Hades on 12 litres, you need to put that up to 85 litres if he is watching the stream, and if he knows how to do that. High Grade on 85 and McToasty on 85 as well. Yeah, Hades has gone to 85 litres, so there we go. Everyone on the same amount of fuel, which should mean we shouldn't get any pit stops apart from damage. Remember, safety cars could be employed at any period if there is a major crash. Everyone, take it easy down into turn 1. I don't want to see anybody crashing into turn 1 and ruin anybody's race, because turn 1 is very tricky at the best of times, even in the dry. If one person locks up the brakes, they all might, and there might be a careering crash and we might get a safety car. I really hope we don't. I really hope everyone is calm and collected down in towards turn 1, and hopefully we'll get to see some great action out on track tonight. Beautifully timed, and now we come into the grid start. Speed round on top, Yogurt in second. Who's going to get the best start? The lights are on for round 11 of CRC LMP3. And it's lights down and we go. Speedster reacts to the start slow and Yogurt gets away the quickest. Speedster very slow off the start. He will come to defend Darren though. Down in towards turn 1. We've got Andy behind him out on track as well. And Speedster dives it down the inside of Yogurt. But Yogurt holds on to the lead of the race. Everyone's concentrating him up. But looks all clean through turn 1. And that is what I like to see. Yogurt through and he leads the way by 0.4 of a second. Speedster second. Sinclair third. Andy fourth. Agulator in fifth. As they all fly through Coca-Cola corner. The side by side actually between our team Matter and Racing Home, and that's Matter through, and he's up into 8th position. It's a good move there from him, but Yogurt is away early, 0.8 of a second, and the Dutchman is making a case here for a race win early on, but Speedster is right on the back of him, 0.7 away. Sinclair in 3rd, Andy 4th, Agulator 5th, Venom 6th, with Bart in 7th, Racing Home in 8th, RRT Matter 9th, Flaky 10th, Hades 11th, McTulsi 12th, and High Grade down to 13th. Andy has picked up the first penalty of the night. That's probably a second penalty for Andy, as well as Darren Sinclair. So both Bulldog Racing Team cars have picked up penalties on the... But it is NLR Yogurt who does lead the way out on track from Speedster in 2nd, Sinclair in 3rd, and Andy in 4th. As we come out of the first lap, it is Yogurt who does lead the way at the end of lap 1. Hopefully the connections will improve. I see a lot of warnings there down the left hand side. Hopefully they will improve as they come across the line. Speedster 7/10 off the back, and here comes Sinclair actually side by side with Speedster coming across the line. You see the connections suddenly improve. Sinclair trying to go around the outside, Speedster on the inside line. Two title rivals find it out. Sinclair around the outside and Speedster outdoes him, outguns him. Around the outside of turn 1, fantastic move. Speedster had no response. Sinclair through and he's up into 2nd position. Good stuff. Speedster 3rd, Andy 4th. And Speedster back down the inside actually at turn 5 through the hairpin corner as we come up towards turn 6. And Sinclair hanging on for grim life. Down the inside, Speedster around the outside. Can he outdo him? Around the outside, no is the answer to that. Sinclair is hanging on. Andy's under pressure as well from Agulator. There was a move further down the field. I think Venom is up into 6th position early. So getting a good job and good start from him. And now, actually, as we see our team Matter all over the back of Bart. This is down towards turn 10 at Dunlop corner. But Yogurt leads by 0.5 of a second from Darren in 2nd, Speedster in 3rd. Very, very clean start by everyone. McTulsi, Hades and High Grade. Not sure if there was a little bit of contact possibly between them both, but everyone's separated pretty much. If you see Bart pick up a penalty by 5.5 seconds out on track, separating the top 10, which is good stuff. Speedster now is pressurising Sinclair, and are we going to get the first 3 wide scenario of CRC LMP3? Which professional was here? Here comes Sinclair, side by side with Yogurt, but here comes Speedster. Look at the double toe, and we are going to see 3 wide, possibly down in towards turn 1. Speedster spread right across the track. Speedster down the inside line, Sinclair down the outside line. They make contact, and Speedster actually gets the move done. Sinclair tried to come across. He didn't think he was there on the inside, I think, and Speedster through, and he's into the lead of the race. That is what the championship leader needs. He outguns his title rival when his title rival outgunned him a lap ago. Fantastic stuff. Speedster in front from Sinclair in 2nd and Yogurt in 3rd. Fantastic stuff. We've got side by side as well, coming through the right-hander through turn 5. This is between Racing Home and Bart, and ILRT Matt are trying to go 3 wide into the hairpin. Just about hanging on. Racing Home trying to go around the outside. This is phenomenal racing by everyone out on track. This is really great stuff. It's the best start of the season, the best start to a race this season I think we've ever seen. As now Matter tries to thread the Island Needle down the inside. He's going to be very tight on the brakes. Oh my goodness me, just about hanging on for grim life. There was Bart. Racing Home through, and he's up to their 7th. Bart now down to 8th. Matter 9th. Flecky in 10th, and Matter actually, that's Bart going off track. So now he has to rejoin. Matter tries to go around the outside. This is through turn 15. Can he get the move done? Matter right on the back here. We have got other battles going on. Here comes Matter down the inside though of Panasonic corner through turn 16. Gets the job done in the Janetta. He is through and he's up into P8. Bart now on the back in P9, and there's Flaky joining on as well. So the 2 ILRT man against 1 TTG driver running down the straight. Here is on board with Bart as we cut to the left hand side. They now cut on board with Chase Cam. Bart just about hanging on to this position down the inside, and that is an overcommitment on the brakes if I've ever seen one. And Bart has just about lost the position. Goodness me, he sideswiped Matter when rejoining. Not his fault, not intentional at all. He's still side by side with Bart. But Matter just about hanging on. Shooting down the inside line. This time he should have the move done. Yes, he does. He's through and he's up into 2nd position. And something has happened up the lead of the race, because Speedster now leads by 3 seconds. Andy second. I think Sinclair and Yogurt have had contact where we've missed it. Obviously coming down further through the field, we've missed that. Yogurt and Sinclair, I think, have made contact, possibly unintentionally, and now Sinclair down up to 3rd, Yogurt all the way down into 5th. Yogurt was 2nd, remember, before Sinclair got that move done. Oh, and Yogurt spins out of control, coming out of turn 13. He rejoins track in a safe manner, right behind Racing Home. But the race just beginning to fall apart, possibly for the Dutchman out on track. We're only 7 minutes through, and already pressure might be starting to get to him. As we see, beautiful camera shot this, with Yogurt on the back of Racing Home. Speedster leads, Andy 2nd, Sinclair 3rd, Agulator 4th. Venom now up to 5th, with Racing Home in 6th, Yogurt in 7th, RLT Matter in 8th, with Bart in 9th, Flaky in 10th. Right on board down towards turn 1. Yogurt not on the brakes there, and now Bart right on the back of RLT Matter and Flaky as well. Oh, Matter goes wide, Bart goes wide as well. Could give the run for Flaky here. As we right on board with trackside cam once again. Really good action so far. First 7 minutes, and I think we've had more action here in Fuji than we have all season, to be honest, in the opening stages of a race, which is fantastic. Speedster leads though, Andy 2nd. You can see the speed difference that these guys have. It's Flaky just runs wide there. Speed difference that Speedster has in comparison to Andy. Last time around, Speedster was a 2nd quicker than Andy with a 33.3. Andy with a 34.3, and Speedster spun out of the lead of the race as I cut just a way to put on my light. Speedster has lost the back end through turn 13, and the championship leader might have said goodbye to his hopes of a race win tonight. He's putting himself in just some uncanny positions. I think Speedster now down to P4, and it's now Andy who does lead the way from Sinclair. Agulator, Speedster drops down to P4. Yogurt at that spin, by the way, is recovering. He's on the back of Racing Home out of the final corner. Let's take a trackside point of view. Racing Home splits the toe. Yogurt trying to get the toe, but that leech, yeah, looks quicker down the straight, and Racing Home just about getting away with it, I think, down towards turn 1. Bulldog Racing 1-2, Andy leads, Sinclair 2nd, Agulator in 3rd position. Down in towards turn 1, Yogurt, you can see him lifting Coulson down in towards turn 1, not close enough to the back of Racing Home. Slight loss of the back end there. But Agulator getting close to the back of Sinclair. Had a poor start, Agulator. And obviously he had a disconnection within qualifying as well. And the Spaniard now on the back of the Scotsman. The 2 Scotsmen. The flying Scotsman in front. Andy and Darren Sinclair, of course, for Bulldog Racing Team. Agulator in 3rd Doing a fantastic job so far. Speedster in 4th. He could latch onto the back of these within the next couple of laps. Don't discount him. He's in a bit of no man's land with Venom in behind. Venom's getting closer as well, as we see Darren just lock up slightly. Magulator carrying more speed through the corner. The Spaniard is on the back here of the Scotsman. Oh, and there's through turn 13. He spins and Speedster takes avoiding action. Agulator needs to get off the racing line as quick as possible. And he just about rejoined in 7th position. And Speedster escaped a heart attack. Quite literally there. You saw him run wide through turn 13. And Speedster might just count himself a little bit lucky that there wasn't any contact just there. Because I have a feeling he would have been quite annoyed with that. Racing home, in the meantime, is on the back of Venom. 10 minutes through here in CRC LMP3. And if you're wondering who I am and what this is CRC LMP3. I'm James Head, taking you through the action. I'm very much a regular here on the League Racing channel, on the League Racing TV channel now, as it's named, formerly known as TTGaming. Racing home on the back of Venom you're watching, 4th and 5th position. Obviously with Agulator's spin now down into 7th, and Racing home is on the back. And we see coming through the difference in the shapes of the cars. That is the Ligier in front of Venom. Racing home in the Ginetta, of course. Racing home okay, more speed. I think the Ligier, though, probably on the straight is better in comparison to the Ginettas. I'd say maybe the Ginettas in qualifying were quicker, but Ligier or Venom getting away. Racing home in 5th position. We now run down in towards Dunlop Corner for the 7th time out on track. We are just under the 10-minute mark gone through this race. I will try and run on board with the comment section. I'm very keen to keep my connection as it is, because it is improving all the time. And he does lead Sinclair 2nd, Speedster in 3rd. Speedster getting closer. 2.6 seconds now, the gap. And he is there, actually, just in front, coming through the final corner. We're right on board now. Let's take it from bumper cam and really get the shift of what this tarmac is actually like running down the straight. It's quite interesting, I think, because obviously you'll see the marbles begin to pop up out on track as this race goes on. So these guys are going to have to deal with a little bit of time management as well. Racing home, though, is on the back of Venom. This is down towards turn 1. Is the brick going to be close enough on the back of the Scotsman? Kind of. Racing home had a look in, but didn't open the door and didn't unlock the keyhole there. Venom through up to 4th. Racing home in 5th. I was trying to make a joke there with through the keyhole, they did, but yeah, that didn't really work. Racing home on the back of Venom for P4. There's Speedster as well on the back now of Sinclair. The 2 Bulldog Racing Team members, Andy and Darren, currently out in front, and it could be quite a good thing for these two out on track. Of course, Andy currently leading the way, Sinclair 2nd, and Speedster filling out the top 3. And of course, these guys have not been familiar to have been familiar to me, of course, within the interview session. There will be interviews coming at the end of the stream, which I'm glad to report. My voice should be in working order for that. And next week, of course, we've got 2 rounds left. And like I mentioned last night on the Division 5 stream, there will be an announcement coming from myself at the end of the CRC season regarding future plans. That's all I can say. Venom in 4th position, Racing home in 5th, Yogurt in 6th position. However, I'm going to go on board with the battle that is developing as we see Bart nearly touched the back end there of Matter. Matter just about hanging on in P8. And there's Bart in P9, Flaky in P10. But championship rivals are about to battle once again, I think. Yeah, Sinclair on the back. Sorry, Speedster on the back of Sinclair. Sinclair making a mistake through turn 1. And now Speedster all over the back end. We see the bollard has been taken out there through turn 4 at Coca-Cola corner. Now through turn 5. Flat 180-degree hairpin at the best of times. Of course, the tyre wear will begin to get a little bit more worn towards the end of the race. But by the way, I think it was going side by side with Matter. I saw that on the mini-map. And both of them currently still 8th and 9th position. Andy, Sinclair, Speedster. Timings update, by the way, as we come through to the 15-minute mark. There are the penalties for everyone. Andy on 2, Sinclair on 2, Matter on 3, and Bart on 3 as well. And they are seconds rather than minutes. Never know, somebody might pick up like a minute penalty. What we experience, of course, from the drive-thrus that I normally pick up, they normally get 20-second penalties as a result of that. Nobody has done that tonight, which is good. But Andy leading the way, Sinclair second and Speedster in third. Fuel might come into play. 65 litres for Speedster at this stage, and we're right on board with the Monster Energy car running down the straight on the back of the Bulldog racing car, of course, of Darren Sinclair. Darren just looks like he might be playing wingman to Andy currently out on track. Andy's got a very good break, and the Scotsman doing a good job. Sinclair brakes slightly later there than Speedster. Just messes up slightly through turn 1. And now Speedster on the back, running down towards turn number 3. This is Coca-Cola Corner. Again, I'm not sure why they name it Coca-Cola Corner. Answers on the postcard for that one. Venom, though, is on the back of Racing at Home. And we've got Speedster on the back of Sinclair. Might be a bit of a ditch and dice situation sort of thing here. With Venom trying to go on the outside of Racing at Home. This is through turn 6. Through the hairpin, not quite. Fast flowing corners, though, are ahead. McToasty, I think, has just dropped down behind Flaky. I'm not sure if they were having a little bit of a battle. So McToasty now down behind Flaky. Right on board with Sinclair, though. He was under pressure from the Speedster. 900 up on his personal best, Sinclair, through the middle sector. 15 minutes gone, Andy leads, Sinclair second, Speedster third, Racing at Home in fourth, Venom in fifth, with Yogurt in sixth, Agulator seventh, Matter in 8th, Bot in 9th, Flaky 10th, McToasty in 11th, Highgrade in 12th, and Hadda is on his debut in 13th position. But now Speedster, right on the back of his nearest championship rival. 25 points is the separation on 151 to 126. Speedster leads to Sinclair, and now Sinclair is under a lot of pressure, but not really impacting with the slipstream running down the straight. Speedster slightly quicker than Sinclair, and he goes for it, dive it down the inside. Can he get the car stopped? No, he can't. He spins the car. And to be honest, that was a bit of an overcommitment, I think. I knew he was going to drop the back end coming through turn 1. He locked up. He just went too hard on the brakes. Racing at Home flashes the lights, thinking, what on earth are you doing here now? So Speedster now third, Racing at Home now fourth. And Venom has dropped down, actually. Venom, I think, has had a spin out of turn 1. That light looks damaged on the right-hand side of the car. So he might have had the hit the right-hand side wall. And Venom now down into P7. He was making up good progress until that point. Let's see if he can make up that those positions once again. He's already on the back of Agulator, and it's only a second the gap to him, and Yogurt's only 3 seconds up the road as well. So all still to play for Venom. Speedster after that spin recovering. Let's see how he's going to get on. It looks to me, if I've got to be honest, pinpointing this out, I think Speedster might be just trying that little bit too hard. He's trying to catch up to Sinclair, trying to pull off moves like that. He just wants to keep it simple. He's the quickest driver out on the grid. He wants to keep it simple, and he needs to keep it simple. If he doesn't keep it simple, Sinclair will take this to the final 2 rounds of the championship, and as it stands, it will, and the gap will close. So Speedster has got to take, I think, a no-nonsense approach. Sinclair's got to do the same. Andy's just got to control the race from the front, as far as I'm aware. And Speedster and Sinclair will be the main battle, I think, during this race. That is the one we're going to keep on board with. As Bart and Matter, ding, 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 round 3 between these guys. As Matter and Bart now go side by side, running down the straight. And Bart just slightly quicker, edging ahead down the straight. It's like a drag race down this long 1 kilometre straight. Here at Fuji, Racing at Home has picked up a time penalty coming out of the chicane. Oh, and actually, Matter comes across on Bart there. Not sure what was happening. Well, there's been a little bit of contact further down the field between these guys, but Bart is through and he's up into 8th position. Matter into 9th. A little bit of side-by-side contact. It's allowed, to be honest. It's LMP3s, but these guys shouldn't treat the LMP3s like touring cars because they are quite fragile and there will be contact. There will be lighter contact that will cause more issues for them out on track, as has been proven so far this season in CRC LMP3. And now Matter, I think, gives up, and now Bart can get on his merry way, and he already pulls 7, 8 tenths of a second ahead. And now Flaky on the back of Matter, and I do believe Flaky and Matter are running in different teams. They're in different liveries. I'm not sure if they're running in different teams though. That's very late on the brakes into the Dunlop curve. And now through the Dunlop corner, I should say, not the Dunlop curve. That's confused up with Suzuka there. McTulsey getting onto the back of this as well. We'll see the penalties, because there's been quite a few more penalties now. 2 seconds added for racing at home, and for Venom. And Flaky's got a 1 second penalty. So those are the latest updates in terms of the timings. I'll try and break them up to 10-minute intervals, just so we get an update. As now Flaky, as Venom and Aguilera go side by side. This is for 6th and 7th. Venom trying to go around the outside on the Spaniard. He's going to try and switch it back down the inside through turn 1. Aguilera went too deep. Venom spins the car into the wall. I think he's done that more than once now. Venom is round. He will rejoin track. He gets the car back into first gear. And he hasn't lost a position, really, as a result of that. He was the driver in behind Aguilera. He actually hasn't lost a position, but the more damage that he picks up on that right-hand side of the car, even though it's quite light, it's noticeable. So I think Speedster now, Venom has got to take his time. Speedster, in the meantime, is on the back of Sinclair. It's only the gap, 7/10 of a second, separating. 20 minutes gone. Andy leads, Sinclair second, Speedster in third. And what I'm sure, to be honest, from these guys, it's been one of the best races of the season, I think. This has been very good, entertaining. There's lots of battles happening further down the field. And it's like one of those things, you get the new manager coming in real life in football, really G's up the crowd and really G's up the fans as well. And this is what it's been like, I think, to be honest. I can make a direct connection. This race has been different in the sense that we've had more overtaking, we've had more battling, and it's fantastic to watch. And I think everyone tuning in will enjoy it, which is fantastic. Speedster on the back of Sinclair. I did say this will be the main battle to watch on board with, and we will watch on board with it. If I see anything else further down the field, I will get on board with it. But Speedster is now on the back of Sinclair. Sinclair will defend Speedster to the outside line through Coca-Cola corner. Not quite. And now to the outside line through turn 5. Can he try and get the move done? As I sip the last of my drink, as Venom comes into the pits to repair that damage that he picked up. Speedster again. Just got to take in my advice. He's just got to be taking this just that little bit cautiously and try and get the move done if he knows it's going to be there. So Andy's out in front. Andy's really controlled the race, and Sinclair's holding up Speedster now a treat. The Bulldog Racing team, of course, thinking about the team standings as well. Sinclair goes deep. This is Speedster's opportunity to go around the outside of the Dunlop corner, I should say, but not quite. Speedster not going for the move. And I think he's just on the side of caution now. He doesn't want to force himself into a move that's not entirely his. The Speedster now got to take this as a champion's drive. He's got to really focus the attentions on the back of Sinclair. And he's got to essentially force Sinclair into a bit of a mistake as well. Much better run out this time from Speedster as we ride on board. We'll go on board with cockpit cam from the driver's eye, running down the straight, down towards turn number 1 at Tai Chi, I think is the corner name, or Kai Chi, or something like that. Speedster now coming across the start finish line. On to lap 15 we go. Andy leads, Speedster second, Sinclair second, Speedster third. Oh, and he's very late on the brakes. That was Venom coming out right behind them out on track, and it looks like his visual damage hasn't repaired itself, but his damage has repaired itself. In the meantime, it just looks a bit wonky, I think, on the right hand side there. Tower screen, the left hand side, of course, on the car. Speedster though on the back of Sinclair, still fighting on board. There's nothing really going on further down the field. Bart is trying to catch up with McTulsey down in towards someone, and actually I think McTulsey's got through. So McTulsey, we missed that. Bart very late on the brakes, forcing McTulsey into a bit of a mistake, and Bart has got through, and he's up into P9. Weird way to try and get the move done, but forcing a driver into a mistake is one of those things that can happen, and Bart is through now into P9. McTulsey down into P10. Won't like that one, I don't think. He got essentially, you could call it bullied out the move, but to be honest, it was clean and Bart pulled off the move fair and square. So there's two sides to the story, I think, in terms of that one. I don't think we've seen an end to that battle, apart from McTulsey going miles wide and nearly climbing Mount Fuji in the process as he goes wide there through turn number 8, and now on the run towards Dunlop corner. Hades, by the way, is into the pit lane as well. Sinclair, though, is under pressure once again from Speedster. We'll cut back on board from the bumper cam this time with Speedster. 24 minutes gone. We'll do our next timings update at the 30-minute mark. Should be halfway through the race. Again, Speedster came in a lot more late on the brakes. A little more speed on the brakes as well. And he's just coming back to these guys slightly. 2.7 seconds now the gap. It was 3.1 last time around. And the American all over the back. See the fire spitting out the back end as they brake for Coca-Cola corner through turn 3 and now through 4 and 5. Speedster really flat out through there. 120 mile an hour maintained pretty much all the way through the corner. Speedster now trying to outdice Sinclair on the run down toward Dunlop corner through the hairpin there. Now through turns 8 and 9. Doing very well out on track, all of these guys. Haddad's into the pit. He rejoins out at the back of the field. Now Speedster thinks about it again. Not quite. But I'm not sure if there was a little bit of contact there actually between them both. Sinclair just taking it slow. Speedster trying to go for the move, trying to force Sinclair into that mistake. This is what he's got to try and do. He's just got to hassle the back end of Sinclair, but not go for the move like this down the inside of 10-15. Goodness me, just about hangs on Sinclair. Speedster is pressurising him every step in the imagination. He's got the gap to Racing at Home. He can pressurise and hound the back of Sinclair, but Speedster will be wanting to get this overtake done in a clean and fair manner. Because if he doesn't, he could be landing himself in the steward's boot. 25 minutes through though, Andy leads, controlling the race from the front. Sinclair in second, Speedster in third. Andy's driven a very astute race so far, by the way, out in front. There he is down in towards turn 1. Speedster again on the back. Plenty of time still yet for an overtake to be pulled off, and this could be it. Speedster gets a tremendous run out of turn 1. Now Sinclair on the inside, and they're side by side up towards Coca-Cola corner. Speedster's going to have to do it the hard way. Round the outside he goes. He's going to go off track. Surely he doesn't. Speedster is through and he's up to second. Brilliant move around the outside of turn 3. That could be the crowning moment right there. Speedster into second. Sinclair, I've got to say, had absolutely no chance. Fantastic move, but Sinclair is going to come back. You know he will. The two championship rivals going hammer and tongs, and we're not even through halfway. Speedster tries to dummy it down the inside, now around the outside. Goes Sinclair. Speedster, I should say Sinclair was trying to dummy it, not Speedster. Speedster hangs on for P2 for now. Darren and P3. That's Venom, by the way, behind them out on track. Racing at Home and Yogurt. Yogurt goes for the move on Racing at Home and gets the move done. So we come on board with that in the perfect scenario. Yogurt through and he's up to P4. Racing at Home now down into P5 out on track. Let's focus again on the Bart and McTulsey battle as well. A lot of battles going on further down the field. Speedster will now bridge out that gap to Sinclair. He's in clear air. He can now focus his attentions on Andy. There's a lot of penalties though now being picked up. Well, next up there is in about 3 minutes time for the penalties. McTulsey is right on the back of Bart. He's just lost time in this lap around. McTulsey now beginning to struggle slightly. Back on board and more immediately to Sinclair, who looks like he's going to have a go down towards turn 3 here at Coca-Cola corner. But yeah, he's not going to be close enough here. Andy leading the way, and all of this is beginning to let Andy once again control the race out in front. There was a time where Sinclair and Speedster were getting closer. They were trying to work together, but they didn't, and they were fighting. And now Andy 2.3 seconds up the road, really excelling, really driving this race astutely well. Speedster now in clear air is driving this race a lot better, but now he needs to focus on the attentions of Andy ahead rather than Sinclair behind, because I think Sinclair will soon be a distant memory in terms of pace. And if I've got to be honest, it was shown last time around, proven last time around. Speedster was quicker by 0.8 of a second, just under, on Sinclair last time around. Speedster runs wide slightly, but now the gap 1.8, 1.7. Speedster flying here. Yogurt on the back of Racing at Home as well, coming to the Dunlop curve. Or the Dunlop corner, I should say. You could go at Dunlop curve, but it is Dunlop corner, given its real name. And Yogurt is on the back of Racing at Home. We are nearly halfway through. We'll do our penalties up there in just a second, as Yogurt's down the inside of turn 15 here on Racing at Home. He's now trying to go around the outside into Panasonic corner through turn 16. Can he try and get the move done? He switches it to the inside. Dutchman against Brit, side by side between the two Janettas. Yogurt's just going to have to come back into the slipstream. It's going to be a case of a drag race. Down in towards turn 1. Yogurt coming across on Risnerholm slightly. Just going to force the issue. Yogurt is going to get the drag down in towards turn 1. He's just about going to pull off the move, but then Risnerholm is simultaneously coming back down the inside. Yogurt just moving across on Risnerholm slightly. They've got to maintain their lines. Yogurt gets the move done, I think, down in towards turn 1. Yeah, good stuff in the end. They kept to each other's lines eventually. Yogurt is through and he's up into P4, but look at the man hunting in behind. That is Agulator, and he is hunting for fresh blood, and he wants another podium out on track tonight. As he runs wide slightly, makes a mistake there, the Spaniard, but is doing a good job nonetheless in 6th position. Back on board with the battle for the lead, which is now beginning to develop. Andy 1.6 seconds away. Well, Andy's just got to focus on really the track in front rather than behind for now. He knows Speedster is gaining hand over fist. It's 1.5 seconds separating. Let's do our next timings update now. There are the timings updated. Andy's got 2 seconds. Speedster, Sinclair, Yogurt have got 2 seconds. Risnerholm has got 4 seconds. Agulator has got nothing. Massive, Flaky, Bart have all got penalties. 3, 1 and 8 respectively. And Hades has also got, and Venom as well, 4 seconds, and Hades 2 seconds. So there we are. Andy leading the way, 1.4 seconds. Halfway stage here in CRC for LMP3. Connections now going back up again. Andy 1.3 seconds leading from Speedster in second. Sinclair in third. The top 3 have really dominated things so far. I think let's cut on board with Agulator, who's getting closer to the back of Risnerholm. Risnerholm looks like he might be serving up a little bit of saving up a little bit of fuel actually down in towards turn 1. Agulator down the inside line has got the move done, defends it beautifully as well, gets the move done, and the Spaniard through, and he's up into 5th position, and he's making up for that disconnection in qualifying, which cost him a possible top 3 on the grid. Agulator now through, focuses his attentions now on the battle for 4th potentially between Yogurt and himself. More immediately though, the gap has halved for the lead. It is Andy who leads, but by a reducing margin all the time. Speedster is now coming into this race really, really nicely indeed, and he's going to come there on the snaff, quite literally on the snaff, essentially on the bridle if you are a horse racing fan, and that's what that means. Speedster is on the back, 6 tenths away off the back of Andy, but again Andy just pulling away down the straight, and actually Speedster, not sure if he missed a gear there or if he's just saving fuel down the straight. Maybe 41 litres of fuel is not enough to get to the end of the race. It does cut off at about 2.2 litres I think per lap, and Sinclair is trying to have another go here at Speedster. No, not close enough anyways. Risnerholm trying to get onto the back of Agulator, coming out the straight as well. More immediately in behind as well, coming through 10.15. McToasty is on the back of Bart. Again, trying to provide you with the best action possible here out on track for Tier 1 of CRC. Well, this is the only tier of CRC for LMP3. But we'll cut back on board now with Speedster, who is all over the back of Andy. And now Sinclair is just 1 second away. This could be quite intriguing. What are the tactics here from Bulldog Racing Team? Oh, and Sinclair's into the back of Speedster. Unbelievable. Sinclair just completely missed his braking point. It was judging up to be a great battle for third. It could still be as well, but Sinclair just over misses the mark just slightly on the brakes. Into the back of Speedster. He tried his utmost, to be honest. He tried his utmost to try and not go into the back of him. He swerved. Just that little bit of contact can throw the car. They're so fragile, these LMP3s. Speedster now in second. Contact between the 2 championship leaders. And Andy now scot-free by 3.5 seconds. Speedster complains that was illegal by Bulldog Racing Team. It wasn't. It was just a pure outbreak on the brakes by Sinclair. And I'm sure there'll only be an apology definitely owed by Sinclair to Speedster after the race. But Agulator now on the back of Yogurt. Really attributing himself well here, Agulator. Looks like he's been quicker this time around compared to Yogurt. as he now comes across the line to start lap 22 for the leaders. And yeah, Yogurt must have made a mistake because Agulator is now just half a second off coming down in towards turn 1. 134.1 compared to 137.1. So Agulator was 3 seconds quicker last time around compared to Yogurt. So Yogurt must have had a half spin somewhere out on track for him to be cost that gap. Beautiful blue skies, by the way, here. McTulsey and Bart, though, in the meantime, side by side, down in towards turn 1. Canadian against Dutchman. And McTulsey down the inside line. Just about getting the moves in. Oh, and Bart just loses control of the car. Nothing can be done about that one. McTulsey into the wall. Bart's going to wait up, and Bart is going to let him through. That's the fairest thing to do, and that avoids a safety car out on track. McTulsey now up to P9, and Bart down into P10. Good sportsmanship shown there by Bart. That's what we like to see. That's the sort of sportsmanship that we do like to see here in CRC. And McTulsey now, unfortunately, wrong place at the wrong time, but has been let through by Bart. It looks to me, though, as if he's got suspension damage with the contact of the wall, which is unfortunate. It's just one of those things. It's racing at the end of the day, I think, for these guys, McTulsey and Racing at Home and Bart, sorry. As I was looking at the timing screen to the left-hand side, Bart is trying to find his way through here. McTulsey just got to be careful. Doesn't want to make another bit of contact here. McTulsey definitely struggling with the car. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if McTulsey might let Bart through down the straight and then he comes into the pit lane and stays out ahead of high grade. Possibly. That's what McTulsey might do. He might just not feel he has got the confidence in the car either. So now the Canadian has to refocus the attention. Let's see what he's going to do, McTulsey. Looks okay to me, as if he's not going to go into the pit lane. So McTulsey lets go on his merry way. Agulator now on the back of Yogurt. It's only 4/10 the gap. Coming through flat right-hander of turn 5. 25 minutes just under to go. Andy leads, Speed to second, Sinclair in third. And again, we'll do a penalties update at 20 minutes or so. And Agulator on the back. Hopefully you guys have been appreciating as well the little changes that have been made. Obviously with me being solo, I'm trying to control the cameras, trying to control the timing screens, everything like that. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. Agulator on the back of Yogurt here. Is the battle you're on board with? I said that and I kind of commentated because there's a bit of half spin there from Agulator. I'll let that one slide. I think Agulator still in P5, Yogurt still in P4. Speedster now, 1.8 seconds off the back of Andy. Really coming into this race well once again. It was a matter of time, I think, the Speedster sets a new personal best, 32.7 from Speedster. Compared to Andy on a 33.8, that last lap was flying. It was absolutely flying from Speedster. And now Andy is in the best scenario, possibly, to be under pressure from the Speedster. I've got 23 minutes to go, roughly, but there will be interviews coming after this race as well. So the top 3, whoever they are, will get an invite by myself into the party. It could be a blue screen moment, of course, where I might have to add some guys onto the friends list and whatever. Venom, by the way, is into the pit lane once again, and that car is damaged severely. It looks like he might have lost his rear wheel, if I'm not mistaken. Car's been in the wars. He misses a pit lane as well. He's going to have to reverse back, I think. Yeah, reverse back, and he's back into the pit lane. Back on board with Speedster, though. On the back of Andy. And it's only 9/10 of a second now, the gap. You would think if these cars had DRS, this would be perfect opportunity for Speedster to get the move done. It's not Formula 1, remember. This is Project Cars 2. Project Cars 3, by the way, is coming out. There are going to be plans released soon, I think, for Season 6 of CRC. I can confirm there will be a Season 6 of CRC. I'm not sure on what game just yet, but it could be the case where we have to run it on Project Cars 3 as opposed to ACC. Whatever it is, though, I'm going to get both games because I think it's going to be quite interesting to see how it's really going to pan out. But as I said, I'm going to make a personal announcement at the end of the stream in 2 weeks' time at the end of Dubai, and you'll soon know what it is. Andy leading the way from Speedster in second, Sinclair third, from Yogurt in fourth, and Speedster still chasing down the back of Andy with 21 minutes to go. This is going to be quite intriguing. Again, another intriguing battle developing. It's Yogurt and Agulator once again. Agulator met the half spin, of course, through Dunlop Curve. I keep calling it Dunlop Curve. Dunlop Corner, I should say. Through turn 10. You know where I mean. Agulator A's on the back of Yogurt. It's close enough, but not close enough for a move. We've got McTulsey and Bart once again going for battle down towards turn 1. The last time they sent in a little bit of tears for both of them. Made a little bit of contact, but now McTulsey ran the outside. Can the Canadian get the job done? He's going to try and switch it back down the inside here and try and use the inside line. No, runs wide and runs onto the AstroTurf, and he'll be lucky not to spin the car, and he is lucky not to spin the car. He remains in P10. Through Panasonic corner to start lap 26. Andy leads, but this is the point where we're going to see Speedster begin to come into play, and is this the opportunity for the overtake and the possible championship win out on track tonight? Speedster, I don't think is close enough though to go for the move. I think he'll just end behind here. Yeah, don't rush the move. Do not rush the move by any stretch of the imagination. I think, to be honest as well, Speedster might just have to use up a little bit of saving fuel. 29.6 litres might be enough, it might not be. And he's on 30.1, so if I was Speedster, I would turn that fuel down slightly, maybe save up a litre extra for the end of the race. That's what I think he should do. There's the penalties, by the way. So that is 2 seconds for Andy, 2 seconds for Speedster, as we see our first retirement of the race, which I think was... I'm trying to pick up on who that might have been. Venom, I think it was. It was Venom who retired. So Andy now out in front, Speedster second, Sinclair in third. 3 seconds for Sinclair. Yogurt on 2 seconds. Agulator has got nothing yet. Good to see. Racing Home on 5 seconds. Match on 3. Flaky on 1. Speedster down the inside of Andy. Through 10-15. Just in the background of shot. I'll try and turn this off. Bart on 12 seconds. McTulsey, High Grade, and Hades the only one on 4 seconds. But now it is getting really interesting now between these guys. Venom disconnected from the session, it seems. But now Speedster on the back of Andy. That's the closest he's ever been to try and get it move done down the inside through turn 15, that was. And now with less than 20 minutes to go, Speedster has not got to rush things, and if he wants it, he can come and get it. Andy is just inviting him there. Speedster has a slight moment actually coming out of turn 1. And now 6.5 tenths the gap, and Andy pulls away once again. It's a really interesting battle. There's not really much going on further down the field. The Matter is on the back of Racing Home and dives it down the inside through Panasonic corner. Great stuff by Matter. Beautifully timed again with these overtakes. Matter is through, and he's up into 6th, but here comes Racing Home. Now, trying to go down the outside line. Switches dummy, switches it back into the slipstream. We'll try and go down the inside line, possibly down towards turn 1. Speedster and Andy battling out down towards Dunlop corner as well. I'll try and intertwine both battles if I can. Speedster late on the brakes, not quite close enough. Racing Home on the brakes, not quite close enough. Matter through up to P6. But now Speedster and Andy. War is going to commence in 18 minutes, appropriately on VJ Day as well. It is going to be a Scotsman against an American. We were the Allies in VJ Day. We were allies in the Second World War, of course. Scots, the Brits, and the Americans. But now it is World War III gonna unfold, I think. Andy and Speedster, here we go. This could be quite interesting. Speedster on the back of the American, the Scotsman under pressure, right within the slipstream, basically bump drafting each other. Beautiful camera angle, that coming through down towards turn 1, and Andy holds sway for now. Goodness me, I cannot imagine how Andy would be feeling, or Speedster would be feeling. Their hearts are bound to be pounding at about 160 beats a minute out on track, and there's still 17 minutes to go. And this could be very, very intriguing indeed. Speedster switches to the inside line through turn 5. Andy takes the deeper line from the outside line to the inside line, and that's what gains him the time. About 1/10 of a second there. Agulator still on the back of Yogurt. That could get quite close in a little while as well. But now Andy under pressure. Speedster is trying to find his way through at every cost. Here we go. Down the inside line. Andy overcommits it slightly. Could have speed to the run through the Dunlop curve. Dunlop corner again. Dunlop corner. Goodness me. Sinclair's just had a slight moment in the background there. Slightly slow, I think it was, rather than a mistake. But now Andy has got to weather the storm. He has got to weather the storm that is incoming, and Speedster on the back. 2.5 tenths per second. Separating these guys out on track. Andy, who has picked up 2 race wins this season. Speedster, who was unlucky last time out in Sugo, is our championship leader. It is going to come down, I think, to who saved the most fuel. It's 0.7 separating Andy and Speedster out on track. Agulator's now dropped off the back of Yogurt as well. And into turn 1, Speedster's still on the back of Andy. Go back on board with Agulator. Agulator made that mistake, which we saw, and now Yogurt 4th, Agulator 5th. It's still the running order for that. Not really much happening on, but we'll keep on board with the battle for the lead with 15 minutes to go. Our final penalties update before the end of the race will come at the 10-minute mark. So 10 minutes or 5 minutes now for the penalties update. Out on track, Speedster. Right on the back. Andy is defending absolutely brilliantly, but is it going to be enough? Because Speedster has got the run. Now down towards Dunlop corner for the 29th time out attack. He tells the dummy down the inside. Andy overcommitted slightly, but keeps the lead. And now it's only 4.4 seconds, or 4.8 now actually. Darren Sinclair is getting closer. Andy has got to weather the storm. Speedster down the inside through 10.15. Little lag between them both, but Andy hangs on. And he's putting up a stoic defence here, Andy. He's driving brilliantly, but Speedster now is on the back of him, trying to weather the storm. Sinclair is getting closer. He's 4 seconds off the back. It will be less than that as they come across the line. Actually, will be more than that coming across the line. Speedster, Andy trying to force him all the way across track. Speedster out of the slipstream. Looks like he might be running low on fuel as well. He might be saving up it slightly. They try to weave down the straight. Andy trying to break the toe desperately. Speedster's down the inside. Very late on the brakes. Brilliant move if he can pull it off. Andy down the inside line. Speedster's got it just for now. But is Andy going to have the run? Down around the outside on Coca-Cola corner. American against Scotsman. American comes out on top. It's Speedster who takes the lead of the race. Fantastic commitment down the inside of turn 1. That is the move of the race so far. Speedster through and he's into the lead of the race. It was coming and we knew about it, and Speedster gets the job done. And now it could be name the distance again, I think, for Speedster. Leading the way, Andy will try his utmost. But in the meantime, Sinclair has been hunting down as... Oh, don't say I've had a disconnect. That was quite strange. I'm not sure if we're... Are we back live? Are we still live? I hope we are. If somebody can confirm, top right, put a comment in or something. There was a bit of a disconnect, desync going on there, possibly with my internet there. And I haven't got anything on, so it's quite strange. Might be the servers on Project Cars, but Speedster leads by 5.5 tenths of a second as we come across the line with 12 minutes to go, just over, and Speedster leading the race. Yeah, we're still live. That was just a little bit of a desync there, I think, on my end, possibly with the servers, so I do apologise about that. Speedster leads, Andy in second, Sinclair in third. You haven't missed much, don't worry. Don't be panicking like I was. Speedster leads, Andy second. Yeah, that might have been just a little bit of a... My internet does this sometimes, where it just literally cuts out for like 5 or 10 seconds and then comes back, and that's what I think that might have been. Yeah, it's terrible. We're having to put up with it, I'm afraid. I can't do really much about it, but... Hey-ho. Well, I'll try and buy an adapter or something. Agulator on the back of Yogurt, though, in the meantime. Trying to go around the outside. This is for Agulator. Oh, he's going to have a try and think about it. Yogurt just about hangs on for P4 out on track. Agulator in P5 for now. Yogurt for P4. Andy 8 tenths off the back of Speedster as well. We have got another battle developing. Racing home and Flaky this is for 7th and 8th. Flaky just overcommitted slightly on the brakes. Now through turn 1. Racing home under pressure from the Malaysian, from the RRT man, and Racing Home doing a good job. He's qualified well up there in the grid. I think he qualified 5th or 6th if I'm not mistaken. Flaky is on the back and is trying to get close, but he's not getting close enough for now out on track. With 10 minutes to go, I'll do a final update on the penalties in just a second. But Andy's getting closer, and Speedster, I think, has been saving fuel maybe this whole race, because Speedster was slightly, well, he was running about the same lap time actually as Andy. Andy improved on his personal best by a couple of tenths there, and now the Scotsman is on the back of the American once again, and he's not giving up without a fight. 2 seconds worth of penalties for Andy, 2 seconds worth of penalties for Speedster. So this is going to be really intriguing, I think. Very, very interesting going forward in the final few laps of this race. We're on to lap 32. What we'll do is just focus on the battle now for until the end of the race. 10 minutes to go, and we'll focus on the rest of the action happening further down the field. Racing Home is under pressure now from Flaky. Flaky getting closer. And again, I'll reiterate that we are going to have interviews at the end of this session. Andy has had a spin, I think. Yeah, Andy's had a spin coming through the Dunlop curve, I think. And Andy now is out of contention for the race win, it seems. Speedster looks like he's getting it out on track. And goodness me, it's really unfolding here out on track. Racing Home on the back of Flaky, but just about hanging on. Bart is into the pit lane. I wonder if this is for damage to the car. No cracked windshield, no cracked light by the looks. He has gone past the pit lane actually, his Bart. Or his pit box, and now he recovers. And that, I think, is for fuel. He's upping the fuel by a little bit. So that means that Bart wouldn't have got to the end. He drives through the other mechanics. Nice stuff there by Bart. Nearly killing the other mechanics in the process. Speedster does now lead the way by 5.2 seconds. Andy second. Aguilera, by the way, it was very close between Yogan and Aguilera. I'm not sure what has happened to Aguilera this lap around, and he has just dropped the pace completely. He's dropped the ball, and the Spaniard now beginning to struggle, it seems, down on track, and it locks up down into turn 1 as well. That's not going to help his cause. Bart just coming out the pits in behind. I think the only drivers that have not got penalties in this race are Aguilera and McToasty, who obviously came into the pits. Not sure what happened to him. But obviously McToasty now down in 9th position. Racing Home has been overtaken by Flaky as well. So Flaky now up to P7. Racing Home must have had a half spin somewhere on this lap. Not evident by the lap times though. But Flaky now 7th. Racing Home now 8th. And it's been a really eventful race. I think we've had quite a lot of good battles. We've had action up and down the field, and with 8 minutes to go, it's only really now beginning to drop off towards the end of the race. It is just Racing Home and Flaky currently, the current battle that is developing out on track. Racing Home, so far, so good in his pursuit to try and close down on Flaky, but Flaky's just pulling away endlessly now, it seems. Go back on board with Speedster. With 8 minutes to go, I'm under the impression that we're not going to have a championship crowned here tonight. I think it's going to be next week. For next week, I should say, it is going to be possibly that championship crowning moment for Speedster. But the penalties will get the standings will get updated, another wonder, and obviously next week. Let me just get the calendar up so I fight through. Let's see what we're doing. It is Circuit of the Americas next week, so a track that we would have went to in real life in Formula 1 is going to be coming to Project Cars instead, so that's going to be quite interesting. Circuit of the Americas, it's going to be dry, it's going to be sunny, and then we've got Dubai in 2 weeks' time, which will round off Season 5 of CRC, and we will have our champions crowned for each of the 2 seasons, of course, for the LMP3s and for the Indy cars as well. It's been honestly an honour and a privilege to bring you this race once again on League Racing TV, and with only 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go, it is Speedster who does lead the way Andy and Sinclair, though, I'm under the impression that they will wrap up the constructor standings, the team standings here tonight for Bulldog Racing, which will be credit, I think, to the guys who were running that team, who are now kind of no longer here. Professional and Ash, of course, who did run the team last season, and they recruited Andy and Sinclair for the LMP3s, and they've done a fantastic job, I think, behind the scenes, giving them the setups, and Andy and Sinclair have worked very much the hardest, I think, the hardest working drivers you'll probably ever have on the grid. Andy second, Sinclair in third, as an attribution, I think, to their results so far here tonight as well. There's nothing really going on, so I'm just trying to fill in the last 5 minutes of this race, I think. Speedster, though, since Andy's spin, it's really given him the advantage to just pull away, and it's been quite effortless in these last 15 minutes or so since Speedster got the overtake done. It's been quite effortless, and it's been quite dominant, I've got to say. It's been a real trait of Speedster's races so far this season, and there he is there. It's been a real trait of him this season, I think, because we've seen Speedster at both his best and his worst moments. His worst moments, of course, coming earlier on in the season, and last week in Sugo, I would say arguably it was his worst race of the season. But now we see drives like this, where he's had to make mistakes to try and get the reward, and that's exactly what he's doing. He is getting the reward, and he is that one step closer, as I don't want to leave the session. Goodness me. Oh, that could have been an absolute disaster there. But Speedster leading the way with 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Goodness me. He leads, yeah. But it's been full credit, I think. We are seeing him at his best here tonight. He has made a few mistakes out on track. It hasn't been the perfect race of them at all. Hades, by the way, is still going round out on track. He's into the pit lane once again. I think the second or the third time out on track tonight. My voice is going, by the way, but it's not going to stop me with the interviews. 4.5 minutes to go. Andy, Sinclair are now 1.2 seconds away from each other. I wonder if we're going to get a bit of an inter-team rivalry going on out on track for the second position. Sinclair looks quicker than Andy. Proven last time around, 133.3 for Sinclair, 134.2 for Andy last time around. 4 minutes to go. We are going to get, I think, another 3 laps of this race after this one. After this lap is finished, I think we're going to get another 3 laps out of this race. At least it could be 4, but we'll see nearer the time. We're getting towards the real nitty-gritty stage, though, and Sinclair, you can tell, he is up for this. Andy is now beginning to backtrack slightly. Sinclair with 8 litres of fuel, Andy with 7, and Sinclair with Speedster, with 6. He's just about going to get home, I think, with that fuel, to be honest. Going to be a bit touch and go. No, he's not. Speedster's into the pit lane. Speedster is into the pit lane in dramatic circumstances. I think he sped into the pit lane there as well, possibly. So Speedster into the pit lane, and now that puts Andy and Sinclair ahead of them out on track, and it could bring Yogurt into third, possibly. Speedster out of the pit lane. He's recovered, and he's gone into the pit lane, and he's lost the race, essentially. Is Andy and Sinclair now going to get home on that fuel? 3 minutes ago, they're going to have to save the fuel. They've seen Speedster go into the pit lane, and it's going to have to be a case now of sit and hope and wait for Speedster to be under pressure. Now, actually, it could be an entertaining rivalry with Yogurt, because Yogurt is going to get through here on Speedster, I think, down the with the other speed. He's up to P3. Unreal stuff. More drama here in CRC. Who said it was written in stone? I didn't. Andy now leads. Sinclair in second, and Yogurt in third position. Unbelievable. So Speedster had low fuel. We were monitoring that during the race. I thought it was okay, to be honest, on the fuel. Andy's got 5.5 litres. That's fine. Sinclair has got 6.5 litres. And these guys are nearing the start-finish line. It's going to be quite close, I think, when these guys come across the line. I think we're going to get another 2 laps out of this. So actually, begs into question, will Andy get home on this fuel? Sinclair will. Will Andy get home on this fuel with 2 laps to go? The pit lane, the start-finish straight, the start-finish line is further down on the pit straight. But we are going to get another 2 laps unless the Bulldog team decide to not make it that final 2 laps. I mean, it's 26 seconds. They could just wait. Speedster, by the way, is through on Yogurt. He's up to 3rd, so he's got the move done. So Andy now and Sinclair, 1st and 2nd. Bulldog Racing Team are going to win the team standings, I think, here tonight, which would be great attribution, I think. But the main question is this the final lap, or is next lap the final lap? I think, honestly, if I was in Andy's scenario and Sinclair, I would honestly tell them just to slow down, come across the line, take the 1-2, take a photo opportunity, and win the race. That's what I think they should do, to be honest. I'm not a mind reader, obviously, so I don't know what's going through in their head, but we've got a minute to go. It will make sense, I think, to stop on this lap, but you never know. We had about a 10-second buffer, so he's waiting up 10 seconds. But Sinclair's really trying it. He's really trying to pressurise his teammate here into making a mistake. And with 45 seconds to go, we're now coming through the final couple of corners. In terms of timings, I think we're okay for another lap. So we'll go on to lap 39, I think. But these guys could decide otherwise. It is all in Andy and Sinclair's hands. They come around the final corner with 28 seconds to go out of the final corner. Speedster is in 3rd, and it looks like we're going to get a fight. We're going to get a fight for the win. Sinclair against Andy. Bulldog Racing Team, final lap. This is it. A good inter-team rivalry going to happen. Sinclair now could just be let through by Andy, but these guys are going to battle. I know they are. Andy switches it around the outside. Sinclair on the inside line. He gets the move done. Andy will try and come back and will try and fight. Speedster, by the way, has made a mistake, I think, out on track. So he's now down in 3rd. The time remaining is up, but we are on the final lap of the race for everyone out on track, no matter where they are out on track. Sinclair makes a mistake. Andy's opportunity now to try and come back. The Scotsmen are really fighting hard here for the Bulldog Racing Team. They want to lay everything on the line here tonight for CRC LMP3 around Fuji, round 11 of the championship, and it could come down to a hair's breadth as Yogurt has came into the pits. Agulator has came into the pits as well. Fuel consumption are their downfalls, and now Andy on the back of Speedster once again. And this is Sinclair's moment possibly to extend the championship lead. But is Andy going to have a say about that? Andy is in behind Sinclair in the standings, I should say. It looks to me as if it's going to be Sinclair who's going to be taking the win. But penalties-wise, Sinclair's got more. Sinclair has got more penalties, and I think this is why Andy is keeping up the tempo. Does he realise his teammate has got 3 seconds more penalties than him? Now I think he's just been told he has, and yeah, he has, because Sinclair now coming across the line is going to win here, CRC LMP3, and he will get the win because Andy gives him it out on track. Sinclair comes across the line to win in Fuji. Brilliant win. Andy across the line in 2nd, really minutely on fuel towards the end of the race. Speedster, fuel really is downfall. He might not even get to the end of the race. It's 0.9, 0.8 now. Can he get to the line without running out of fuel? Speedster is running in the lowest fuel mix. He has to be. Speedster now around the final corner. 0.7 litres of fuel. He's having a short shift. He's having to do everything in his power to get this car across the line. There's a longer pit straight as well. It's now 0.5. I mean, I'll see Matter is 16 seconds behind him, so I think Matter is going to finish in 4th. Speedster will finish in 3rd. Just about gets the line with his fuel intact. There is Matter going to be coming across the line in 4th. Flaky has got 1 second penalty. Agulator 3 seconds off. That's not going to interfere with things, I think. But Matter going to be across the line in 4th position. That's Bart, I think, coming across the line in front of him. Flaky is going to be coming across the line in 5th. I will give out the invites just now for the party. Flaky is going to be coming across the line in 5th position. Good race actually by Flaky in the end. Obviously Agulator pitted in front of him. Agulator across the line in 6th. Restner Home is going to be coming across the line in 7th. And I think we've only got 2 more to go. Yogurt and Matt Toasty, who I think has came across the line actually out on track, if I'm not mistaken. So we are just waiting on NLR Yogurt, I think, to come across the line, and then that'll be us done. No, there is another car. It is somebody out on track that's going to come across the line behind Yogurt. Yogurt across the line. finishes in 8th, and that is it. So Yogurt was the final one coming across the line. But it is Darren Sinclair who takes the win. Andy 2nd, Speedster in 3rd position, with RRT Matter in 4th. Flaky in 5th, with Agulator in 6th. Rest of Home finishing in 7th, with NLR Yogurt in 8th. McToasty in 9th. High Grade rounding off the top 10. Bart in 11th. And Hadders, Real Trooper, he trooped on there in 12th position out on track. And that is the stream over and done with. But don't go away, because I'm now going to invite the top 3 into the party to tell me their thoughts on their race and what their expectations are for the final 2 rounds of the season here in CRC LMP3. So if you just give me a minute, I'm going to go blue screen. You'll still hear me talking though. So I'm going to search for the names of the top 3 now. I probably don't have them on my friends list. That is probably why I have to search for them. But there is Sinclair. There's Andy. You just bear with me 2 seconds. I will literally get this done. There he is. And Speedster is the 3rd man that we're going to be inviting into the party for the interviews. So, all 3, the top 3, have now been invited into the party. Hopefully we will get them in. But a fantastic race. I wouldn't normally come to professional and say what my rating was for the race. My rating for this race, honestly, 8 out of 10. I think it was fantastic in terms of overtaking. We had a lot of good battling. We had a lot of fantastic action out on track, including the 2 teammates as well, right near the end, fighting for position. There might have been a little bit of team orders right at the end. But we have got one of the men of the moment. We'll wait and see if the others are going to join. But we are going to kick things off by interviewing our race winner. It is Mr. Darren Sinclair. And Sinclair, you needed that for your championship hopes.
Yeah, thanks Andy at the end. I don't know if he ran out of fuel or if he's running low, but thanks. I think it was kind of on purpose, which I'm happy about. But that was a weird one there. I was always struggling with the pace for the front guys, and obviously they were kind of always pulling away, and then I had Speedster behind me, who was just, it was a bit of a nightmare. My car felt like a rally cross car at some point. But I managed to keep him behind for some time, which allowed Andy to build a bit of a gap, and then obviously he got past. And I tried to keep up, but I never really managed it. And then I think once he caught Andy, I think I just kind of, I don't know if it was a big hit on him, but on my screen I think I thought I managed to avoid it, and obviously when I turned around he was there, so I was like, oh no. But then, after that it was weird because I was so far behind, and then I was getting so many ETL penalties, and I was like, oh well, I'll take 3rd. And then Andy kind of slowed down, so I was like, maybe he's struggling with fuel, and then Speedster pitted, and I was like, really? I was like, what's happening here? And then again, thanks Andy for that, if it was meant.
Honestly, I think with Speedster coming into the pit lane late on, you must have been counting your lucky stars. You probably thought, what on earth has happened here?
Yeah, I had plenty of fuel, so I was surprised. But obviously he's a bit harsher on his fuel than the rest of us.
Yeah, it was a good drive though by you, Sinclair, and obviously you go into the final 2 rounds of the season still with that championship hope alive. We go next week to the Circuit of the Americas, a track I think is going to be quite good for the LMP3s. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
I think the curbs are a bit wild on some of the corners there, so I'll have to see how we get on. It's going to, obviously Speedster's going to be faster anyway, so I'll have to see how close I can be to him, and hopefully it's close enough.
Home race, baby.
Yeah.
And we'll come on to Speedster in just the meantime, but thank you, Sinclair. Go and enjoy your evening.
Cheers. Well done, lads.
And now we'll go to our 2nd place man, if he's here. It is Andy. Andy, what on earth happened in the late stages of that race?
I lost a bit of the tyres. They were getting quite worn, and the car was just understeering like a shopping trolley through some corners. And once Darren got by, he was quicker than me. I could keep up, but I knew he had the penalties coming out the last corner, I just made sure of the buffer because for two reasons. One, he's closer to Speedster in the championship, so as a teammate it makes more sense. But number two, he's had so many times this season, Nürburgring especially, where he should have won the race, and he hasn't. He deserved the win the way he's been driving, so yeah, I thought it was the right thing to do overall. I can't catch up to first place, not without a bit of a miracle, so I thought it was the clever thing to do, and I think he thoroughly deserves it, to be perfectly honest as well.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic as well, and if I'm not mistaken as well, I think you guys have been crowned team standings champions as well.
Yeah, we were doing the sums. We think that if we just double points scored basically the last three races, it wouldn't really matter what Speedster and any, whoever he had as a teammate at Sealy Racing would do. So. Yeah, that's the thing as well. I mean, for you to keep it that close, so you've been mainly on your own, is amazing, but that just shows how quick you are. And to be honest, through the race, excuse me, I knew that there was going to be a point where if you got past Aaron, you would catch up to me and you would probably get by. I tried to keep you behind as long as I could, but the car was just getting a bit too leery under braking, and the only thing I could do to keep you behind was kind of park it on the apex, basically. Just kind of then just hope that I could hold you back that way. I knew I had the straight line speed because I'd put quite a low downforce on it, so it was a good battle though. I loved it. You've made me sweat like hell though, so thanks very much.
Yeah, I knew, first of all, we had a practice session like 10 minutes before the race, and I was kind of battling, quote-unquote battling with you in the practice session, and I saw, oh my god, he's a bull in a straight line. And I assumed you and Darren were running similar setups. So, again, I was just on the front straight, I'd be like an inch away from your bumper in the slipstream, and we'd have the same overspeed. I mean, yeah, I assume you were running something low downforce, but I could definitely tell I was making it back in the corners, especially in Sector 2 and Sector 2 and beginning of Sector 1, so no, great fun. I was trying to save fuel behind you too, which obviously didn't really work out that well.
I heard you in the party chat saying, how the heck have we saved that much fuel? You got to remember Algarve, mate, come on.
Yeah,
I was lifting and coasting for a good first 20-25 minutes, setting 133s. I was just lift coasting into corners to keep it easy, just so I had enough. I always know that's likely, so I always try to do it early.
I know, you did a great job.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race from both of you, actually, and we'll come on to Speedster in just a second. But Andy, obviously Circuit of the Americas next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
Not a Scooby-Doo. I've not even driven this car around there yet, probably be later on in the week before I do. But it's nice to have had the two Japanese rounds, because obviously I won last week in Sugo, which I'm going to be honest was probably my best race ever, as I never made a single mistake and just kept it clean all the way. Tonight was pretty close to that, but car setup just cost me at the end, and then I had to spin down at the chicane hairpin towards the end, which cost me time, but I was surprised to see Speedster come in the pits because I got my girlfriend, my engineer, to check what the fuel levels were on stream, and we were pretty close at the point she checked, so I was like, okay, he's not going to be pitting then, surely. So when you came in the pits, I was quite shocked, I'm going to be honest with you, but I'll try my best next week. The aim's always to try and get in the podium. I think that's usually quite capable. There's a lot of good guys here, but who knows, I'll need to see once I've done some practice. Tricky track though, will be quite fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great race, and we'll have to check the rules as well on outside interference, because your girlfriend was checking those fuel levels there, so she was. I think she was the help to get you second there, to be honest.
No, I knew I was getting to the end anyway. It just let me know whether it was likely Speedster was going to pit or not. I was surprised when he did though, because when she checked it for me, we were pretty much within 0.3 of a litre of each other. So I was like, when he pitted, I went, oh, okay. I was quite shocked, to be honest. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
for me at least, I could have made it to the 0 minute mark, but the problem is that we had to do an extra lap, and I knew I had to let off by like 20 seconds to make that work, and you guys were only like 5 seconds back. So, I probably, in hindsight, that probably would have been the move rather than pitting and putting in fuel. But I just didn't want to take any chances because, I do have the championship on the line.
You didn't score last week after your wheel disconnection as well, so I can understand too, but safer than sorry too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I gotta say, it was a fun race. Really, really enjoyable.
Definitely.
Last week was such a shame with my disconnect, but No, it was great fun. Great fun.
Definitely, agreed.
Yeah, I think I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think, honestly, the opening few laps was absolutely fantastic on stream. You can watch it back later on. But, Andy, go ahead and enjoy your evening. Well done.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, great race. Well done to Dan. Thanks, Speedster. You done well too. Just
hopefully
we'll go again next week.
Hopefully, I'll see you at AOR 1 this season. Highly doubt it, but hopefully.
You never know. If you do, I've got plenty of graphics lined up for it.
Oh boy! Oh my god!
See you later, guys. Take care.
See you, Andy. Take care. And now we go to our third place man, Speedster. Speedster, apart from that late pit stop, how was your race? Because you made quite a few mistakes out there, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Quality was good. That was a good lap I put in. But in the race, so I don't know what happened. In Sector 3, going into the beginning of Sector 3, there's the curb on the outside, and I hadn't been touching it in practice, but I did note from last season the GT3, so it's a bit of a sketchy curb. I just got the rear on the white line and wasn't expecting it. The car snapped. It did a bit of a half spin, and lost me about 8 seconds. Lost me a couple positions. But I'll be honest with you, I knew that today I had the speed over everyone else. Again, like we said, Andy and Darren were running very low downforce setups, which gave them great speed on the straight, but I could tell their cars were not set up for the corners, and I was just carrying so much more speed than everyone else. So I wasn't even that upset. I was like, okay, I'll just catch them back up, which is exactly what I did. So yeah, it was just an uncharacteristic mistake. It's very weird that the car stepped out like that. But then when I tried to overtake Darren and spun, I don't know if you guys caught that. You probably did.
I think I did.
I locked the brakes. Locked the rears, and I was expecting actually the car to kind of help me out and that sliding to help me turn around the corner, but it just slid a lot more than I expected. Then I almost did it again when I overtook Andy, but I was ready for it that time, and I was able to kind of do a little bit of trail braking to keep the rears from completely overextending. And so when I made the move on Andy, I was able to keep the back end under control, but I just wasn't expecting the car to slide that much with Darren. No contact, not his fault or anything, just my bad on the brakes. I got the car slowed down perfectly fine. It just that, again, for some reason the rears were not having it, partially because it's a downhill braking zone as well. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Those 2 spins definitely cost me a lot of time, but at the end of the day, it was a fuel-saving race, and something I wasn't able to necessarily accomplish today, but it's all right.
It heats things up for the championship, though, and I'm sure our viewers will want to know, what is your plan for the next 2 races to win that championship? Because you're still in the championship league going into next week in America, your home circuit. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
I'll be honest, man, I really want to win it. I want to win the championship in the USA. I need to have a 20... I'm pretty sure I would get Darren on count back, so what I mean by that is... I think I have more wins than in the season. I think that's how the championship decided.
Yeah. If
that's the case, then I need a 23-point gap over Darren to secure the championship in the USA. So, but yeah, that's gonna be the goal. I think today my gap dropped. I'd like to say 2 points. I think he's a 23. I think he has a 23-point lead over. Or I have a 23-point lead over him now, actually. Going into COTA. So pretty much. The goal is just going to be to finish in front of Darren. If I can finish in front of Darren, secure the championship in the USA. I love COTA. I've been driving it for years on the F1 games, and I've driven it on this game quite a lot as well. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So that's the goal. I'm not going to take too many risks, but as long as I'm leading Darren at the line, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, don't take too many risks, because if it's the most frustrating race in the world, we know what you're like when you're under pressure and you really come back. And I think it could be one of those races for you next week.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to be... I can pretty much tell it's going to be a fuel-saving track again, which is Darren and Andy's specialty. The reason why I say that is because there's a bunch of slow-speed sectors. So at Fuji, Sector 3 was really the great equalizer in the sense that was all slow-speed. And so therefore the engine isn't revving as high. Which is why it was a fuel-saving race. And then again, the COTA Sector 3 is pretty... Sector 2 and Sector 3 is pretty low speed, with not a lot of revving, so... yeah, working out the strategy is going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, I think, strategy-wise, and for fuel-saving as well. But I will go and let you, in the short term, go and enjoy your night, and go and enjoy your afternoon. Have a good one.
Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Thank you for commentating all by yourself.
Oh, I had another
should get
one
a
before this as
professional
well,
back.
so my voice is really going.
Oh my god. Come on, man, get some rest.
Oh, I will. I definitely
All right.
will.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man.
No worries. See ya.
Have a good one.
And that is the end of our stream here tonight for League Racing TV and for CRC LMP3. We, of course, go to the final 2 rounds of the championship. It is, of course, Circuit of the Americas, as we've already been saying, and then Dubai Autodrome, a night race to end us off for Season 5 of CRC LMP3. But I've been James Head. Hopefully we're going to have Professional alongside me in the commentary box, possibly for the final 2 races. Who knows? I could be by myself for the rest of the season. But until then, I've been James Head. Please take care of yourselves. The next time we are live on League Racing TV will be Tuesday night. It is Division 1 with myself and Kieran McGinley of TTML. Please tune in for that. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.